Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the third episode of Building in Casual, and today is probably my favorite episode of this playlist so far because I'm going to talk about one of the decks that I enjoyed the most building. The deck is called Kath's Army or Kathrena's Army, and is a deck built around Kathrena Winterwisp and Seeping Oozeling. I have been posting quick fun games with the process that I took to build this deck, and today's episode is going to show a game where pretty much everything that the deck does will be seen, and after the game I will return and I will take you step by step to how this deck was built. So the initial win condition. The problems that I had, how I solved them, what I tried, and all of those things. So I'm really excited about this episode. I really love this deck. Unfortunately, it's going to die a very quick death after the nerfs, but I will address all that also in the post game video. Okay, enjoy the game, and I'll return in a bit to tell you how I built this deck.
Rexa versus Rexa.
Really hoping that this is aggro, because we have been doing some stuff against aggro. I'm going to keep all of this hand, so Wandering Monster is going to give me something if he attacks me. Then I'm going to play Snipe the next turn, which is going to kill his next thing. And hopefully I will be close to playing the Corridor Creeper. So we'll see. Aggro so far has been relatively easy, much easier than I was expecting, to be honest. It has been very interesting to see that it can hold to aggro. I've been losing mostly to. As far as aggro is concerned, I've been losing to Aggro Paladin, which is not really a surprise. But other than that, we have been doing quite alright. He's trekking like hell. He lost 4 cards already. I'm going to play the Wandering because I want to have something on board, or worst case scenario, it just kills my minion, and well, worst case scenario, kills my minion, so this gets discounted. Okay. Alright. Sounds good. I'll just snipe.
Job's done.
So far so good, but he has wasted a ton of cards. Let's keep doing this, man. I have all of them right now.
To my side.
That's beautiful. I have nothing to play, go figure. There you go. It's going to stay alive. Nice. Attack with the other one, man. You know you want to do it. Now what? Now you're just going to freezing trap that. One has to wonder if you have anything to play. If you control a secret at the end of your turn, restore 4 health to your hero. I love it. So I'm not even going to attack. Oh, great. I'm gonna be healed. Can we have one of these?
I have no time for games.
Not going to attack, man. That dies. Now what?
To my side.
Beautiful. Nice. Alright. Let me get one of those.
Your weakness betrays
Alright. Now let's use Sylvanas here.
Let none survive.
There you go. Perfect, man. See? I like this stuff. Wasn't this cool? It was the coolest thing ever. And I'm still going to play Sylvanas next turn. Just love... Gotta love this deck, man. I'm really happy with this deck. Oh, unfortunately you hit the wrong one. Okay. That's cool. Alright. Let's do the following.
weakling.
Alright.
Where's my...
Alright. So next turn. Man, he has a bunch of these. Yeah. He may very well kill me next turn. Alright.
Your weakness betrays you.
Alright. Man, it was... Oh man. This was beautiful. This was absolutely beautiful. Welcome back, I hope you enjoyed the game. As you probably noticed, it was one of the most satisfying wins that I ever had with the deck that I built. So let me take you through the process of what the deck is and how I build it. Kath's Army, or KATHRENA'S Army, is a deck that revolves around secrets to control the early game, so to be able to survive the first onslaught of aggro decks. And it does a pretty good job at that, by the way. And after that, it's all about cheap beasts. So the idea here is to use KATHRENA and to get 5/5s from Devil Swords, and use also Seeping Oozelings to have more of those things. So everything that revolves around creating cheap beasts is used by the deck. Also death rattle triggers, because those will help generate more and more beasts, not only from KATHRENA and Devil Sword, but also from Abominable Bowman, which will create more beasts. The beasts that are created and later on revived are at least 5/5s. So both the Devil's Sword Egg and Corridor Creeper, which I use at a discount after the explosive traps and also the Wandering Monsters, the Snipes, and so on. So all of those beasts are 5/5s, which is a pretty good stat line to consistently create boards around. So triggering death rattles to be able to get double or even sometimes triple those beasts is pretty good. Last but not least, tools and tech, and cards like Stitch Tracker is obviously a tool. I use it to tutor, in this case to copy a minion that I want. I often use it to find eggs or corridor creepers, but if the game is progressing quickly enough and I have some other need, for instance, if I want to get an extra Sylvanas, for instance, it also helps with that. Sylvanas in itself was added. I really like the card, but the point of having Sylvanas here was to beat Warlocks for the most part, and it works well if I'm able to draw her. So how did I build this deck? I started with the win condition, and the win condition, I think it was obvious for everyone that was paying attention to the cards that were going to be released with Kobolds and Catacombs. It revolves around Kathrena, and Kathrena is going to pull Charged Devil Swords and King Crush. So far, nothing particularly spectacular. Pretty much everyone thought of this, especially with Carnivorous Cube, which would allow, for instance, to cube a King Crush and then use like a play dead to bring it out again for a minimum of 24 damage in one turn, by the way, which is pretty cool if you think about it. Last but not least, the difference between what I wanted to achieve and what other similar decks with Kathrena did was that I wanted to cheat out Kathrena's power early on, and I tried that with Seeping Oozeling. The problem with Seeping Oozeling in this particular case was that many times it would take the death rattle of Carnivorous Cube, and since Carnivorous Cube was not played but in the deck, that death rattle is nothing. So every 2 out of 3 times Carnivorous Cube was the death rattle that I got into Seeping Oozeling, making it kind of clunky to play and highly ineffective also. So I decided to remove the Carnivorous Cube. And probably you're thinking, why? And my point is really, really simple. With Carnivorous Cube, we are building more of a combo deck. And I wanted a more mid-range win condition. And the mid-range win condition revolves around building board states that are overwhelming for our opponents. Where in the combo, I just wanted to get to my combo and then play it on. Part of the problem that I found with this was that when I played Kathrena, usually I had not that many beasts in the deck, and I could go into the unfortunate position of only having, for instance, the Battle Cry and then not the Death Rattle. Although, since I wanted to use the cube, I only really needed one of them. Still, I prefer to build a mid-range version, and that's what we are discussing. So I just ditched the Carnivorous Cube and kept the Seeping Oozeling. However, the Seeping Oozeling did bring a rather sticky mid-range, and that was possible because I added Devil's Sword, which I could play it in the early game, and also was more than happy to have it copied, to have that Death Rattle copied by the Seeping Oozeling. Also Sylvanas, for the reasons I mentioned early on. I wanted to use Sylvanas for the most part to have board swings, but especially to counter Warlocks. Also Abominable Bowman, which I don't mind playing at all since I'm going to bring back 5/5s. And at the same time, it was a good death rattle to get from Seeping Oozeling. And last but not least, Kathrena herself, since she is the one that allows me to have this kind of plays. So I had some problems. The first one was that I did not have enough beasts. So I was too reliant on drawing the Devil's Sword Eggs and if I did not draw them, I would need to play the Seeping Oozeling and guarantee that I was going to have a Devilsaur Egg Death Rattle. So I really did not have enough beasts. I tried a number of things. The first one was the obvious one, which is Savannah Highmane. The problem with Savannah Highmane is that his death rattle are the two hyenas, and the two hyenas are beasts, which means that the Abominable Bowman is going to be a lot weaker, because there's a 2 in 3 probability of getting the hyenas and not Savannah Highmane. So Savannah Highmane did not stick. The second one was to play Bear Trap. So this was good because at this time I was using Eagle Hornbow, so I had one more secret, and that's always a good thing. But at the same time, a 3/3 bear with taunt is a lot weaker than the boards that I wanted to create. And Abominable Bowman was also an issue for this, because instead of creating 5/5s, I had at least the possibility of creating 3/3 and taunts, which was not the kind of board that I was trying to build. So Bear Trap was in the deck for a little bit, but I ended up removing it. And last but not least came Corridor Creeper. When I thought that Corridor Creeper was a beast, I was actually pretty happy with it. First, because if I clear the board as much as possible with Wandering Monster and with Explosive Trap, plus the shenanigans with Glavezuka and Devilsaur Egg, I would probably have a 5/5 beast at a discount. So Corridor Creeper just synergizes beautifully with everything that the deck is doing in the early game, and it's amazing to bring back from a Abominable Bowman. So Corridor Creeper was the last addition to the deck. The problem number 2, and by the way, with Devilsaur Eggs and Corridor Creepers, there was no more issue of lacking beasts to synergize with Abominable Bowman. The problem number 2 was that I did not have enough board. And what I mean with this was that I was not being able to create those overwhelming board states that mid-range decks want to create. So the first way that I tried to solve this was just to have a bigger board than my opponent, and to do that I wanted weapons. Since Eagle Hornbow synergizes quite well with the secrets, since I would have more durability over time, it seemed a good solution. The problem with that was that I was giving up too much health when making exchanges on the board just to keep a bigger board than my opponent. So in the end, Eagleborn Bow, which was in the deck, I think that most, if not all of the videos that I've posted with this deck so far, all of them, I believe, have Eagle Hornbow. So this was a very late removal. Actually, I removed it to add Corridor Creepers, if I'm not mistaken. So the second one was Play Dead. And Play Dead, it is saying that I use Play Dead to solve the problem of not having enough board is kind of a lie, because Play Dead was there from the beginning when it was more of a combo version, because I could use it with Kathrena, for instance, and with the cubes. Play Dead does help, but it was not added exactly to solve this problem, although it was a big part of the solution, since I could use it, for instance, with the eggs, and with very good result. Also with Abominable Bowman, also with Sylvanas, and so on and so forth. It's just a brilliant card. It's core to this deck. Terrascale Stalker was a card that I added early on, but specifically to play with the eggs. If I have a turn 2 coin egg into turn 3 Terror Stalker, I have a pretty good board to work with. Terror Stalker does generate quite a bit of board. And last but not least, Glavezuka, which was also a early addition, but it became more relevant with the addition of the eggs, since I could generate a board state where I would buff the egg and use it to trade, generating a 5/5, and would still have Glavezuka. There was a game that I posted last week where I have the egg and I have a 4/4 minion from my opponent, and I played 2 Glavezukas. I hit it with the Glaivezuka that I have, which was actually misplayed. I should have hit it with the first one to keep the 2 charges from the second one. And then I hit it with the egg that had 2 attack buff. So I killed my opponent's minion, and I had a 5/5 on board. So really, really good addition, but mostly because of the eggs. Other cards that I have tried in the meantime were, for instance, N'Zoth. The problem with N'Zoth is that it's awful with Seeping Oozeling and also with early on the Carnivorous Cube. So I just ditched it. Umbra. I really like this card. It does work well in the late game, but it's too slow for what I'm trying to do between turns 4 and 8, let's say. So it's a good card. It's a kill on sight card, so it acts like a soft taunt. But for the most part, it was just too slow for what I was trying to do. And also Barren River there. I think I will try this card later on, but again, it was not doing anything to my board. I was probably happier in comboing some other thing in those turns. So now we have the Corridor Creeper nerf, which is going to hurt this deck quite a bit. So I need to think what am I going to put there that will allow me to have a deck that it's playable and usable. And I have some ideas. The first one is King Mukla. I'm more than happy to have it pulled by Kathrena, the same way that I was happy to have Corridor Creeper, because it's still a 5/5. Spirit Singer Humbra is another possibility that I will review later on, because maybe I can come with eggs and something like that, but I'm not too excited about it. I'm probably more excited about King Mukla. Another possibility, a very strong one, was hinted in the European Forum by Shirkold, I believe, and I really like this idea. Corpse Widow is not that much weaker than Corridor Creeper, and it does synergize really well with the cards that I usually play. So it will probably allow better board states. Not only that, but if I bring it back with Abominable Bowman, I am able to play some other things, and also Seeping Oozeling with Abominable Man, Death Rattle can do things with it. So I'm probably happy to play her. Last but not least, Vicious Fledgling is probably one of the strongest possibilities that I have, because although it is a 3/3, it is always a kill on sight. It has to be killed. It has to be addressed, and if I keep reviving it, it's just insane the amount of trouble that I can put my opponent in. So maybe Vicious Fledgling is the way to go, but I will try I will try other things. We'll see. I hope you enjoyed both the game and the explanation of how I built and the problems that I had. I wanted to build this video focusing on the process of building the deck, because I think that deck building is one of the skills that is least taken into account in Hearthstone with all the net decking that exists. I have nothing against net deck. If you want to net deck and not build your decks, by all means do it. But I do believe, at least for me, it's the most exciting thing to do in Hearthstone, and I wanted to share with you the experience and the thought process behind building a deck that I had so much fun building and learning to play. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will return soon with more ladder grinding and deck building. See you soon.